The Kappa are a type of imp-like yokai that can be found inhabiting the rivers in traditional Japanese mythology and folklore. Kappa itself was thought to mean river child, but they did go by several other names, including Komahiki, meaning horse puller, and Kawataro, meaning river tiger. These were just some of the many names associated with the Kappa. Depending on which region of Japan you find yourself in, there are close to 100 names relating to the creature, with Kappa being the most recognized outside of Japan. In Shinto they were referred to as just one of the many Suijin, a name given to a water deity. Depictions of the Kappa do change, but they were quite commonly likened to a child in terms of size and stature. They had scaly reptilian skin, which was known to range in colour, anywhere from blue to green to yellow, and they had webbed feet and hands which served to aid them in their environment, as they were commonly found in the ponds and rivers of Japan. They were also said to be able to swim like fish, and there are tales of local fishermen mistaking the Kappa for fish because of their smell. Although their appearance may vary from region to region, there are some features that seem to be common amongst the Kappa, these being a beak, a tortoise-like shell, and a hollow indentation found on the top of their head, which is commonly filled with water. If this pool of water ever dried out or was spilt, it was believed that the Kappa would lose its power, and possibly even die. Being obsessed with politeness, if one was to bow to a Kappa, they would almost be obliged to bow in return, thus spilling the water held in the plate on its head, making them unable to leave the bowing position until that water is refilled. This often resulted in people attempting to trick and outsmart the Kappa, because it was believed if someone refilled this water, the Kappa would have to serve them for eternity. The Kappa are quite an odd bunch of creatures with a range of varying behaviour. They were usually seen as being troublemaking tricksters, who performed quite harmless pranks such as stealing food, lifting women's kimonos and scaring the locals. But at times their behaviour took quite a malevolent turn, with them drowning animals, kidnapping children, raping women, and even eating human flesh. It became somewhat of a tradition or superstition for locals to throw cucumbers into the river in order to appease the Kappa, as many claimed cucumbers to be their favourite meal. Sometimes the Kappa were shown to have vampiric tendencies, luring people into the water, drinking their blood, and eating their liver and other vital organs. In some accounts the Kappa gained their powers by taking a person's shirokodama, which is a mythical ball believed to contain one's soul, which also happens to be located inside the anus. So how exactly the Kappa would abstract the shirokodama is something I'll leave up to your own imagination. In regards to the victimization of animals, the Kappa had a particular taste for drowning horses and cows, and the image or theme of the Kappa drowning a horse can be found all around Japan. In these stories it's believed if the Kappa was caught in the act, they could be made to apologize. The city of Tono became an area known for its Kappa attacks, especially directed towards women, with several images around the 18th century showing women being raped by the Kappa. This in turn led to quite a few accounts of women being impregnated, leading to an offspring that was said to be so repulsive it caused physical pain to look upon. When encountering a Kappa normally results in either being kidnapped, raped or drowned, and potentially even having your anus fondled, how exactly does one escape a Kappa? We discussed earlier that bowing to a Kappa is a way to trick them into spilling the water located on top of their head, and any method or technique that would spill this water would offer an effective escape. Another weakness involved the arms of the Kappa, which could easily be pulled from their body. If an arm became detached from their body, the Kappa would have to share its knowledge or perform a favour in exchange for its return. Having some kind of expertise in wrestling would also come in quite handy, as the Kappa are known to challenge humans to wrestling contests or tests of skill. Despite the Kappa not exactly being seen as a friendly creature, it's thought if one was befriended, it would provide a number of benefits and blessings. They would sometimes bring families fish, which was regarded as a mark of good fortune. The Kappa were also regarded as being highly knowledgeable in the field of medicine, with legends stating that it was in fact the Kappa that taught humans how to set broken bones. Their knowledge in medicine is something they would also share with humans they had befriended. They were even known to help farmers irrigate their land, and receiving the blessing of a Kappa was a sign of a good harvest to come. Despite everything we've learnt about the Kappa and their quite malevolent nature, in modern day Japan they can be seen almost everywhere, quite often joyful and nearly always smiling, being portrayed in quite an inviting manner. The exact influence and origin of the Kappa is fairly uncertain, but some of the names that they go by would suggest they may be partly based on either monkeys or turtles, perhaps even taking some inspiration from the now extinct Japanese river otter. Regardless of whether you see the Kappa as a mischievous trickster or an evil being, they are just one of the many unique and strange looking creatures that Japanese folklore has to offer. If you have any stories or thoughts about the Kappa, then feel free to share them with me in the comments below. And as always, I've been your host, Mythology and Fiction Explained.